Well, everybody's complaining about inflation and prices and things going bananas and the world breaking down. Well, I'm here to tell you folks, it's not stopping no time soon. So let's get into what the hell is going on and why things are about to get real hectic in the second half of this year. So Shanghai was locked down for a while. From what I understand, they were being punished for supporting a rival to Xi Jinping, right? You know what I mean? Because Xi Jinping's election's coming up again. And, so he decided to punish them and lock them down. And so we are going to have a whole shit ton of boats coming into the port of Long Beach. Now, y'all are wondering what exactly is going on over at the port of Long Beach and why it is that they're not able to unload containers. Well, let's have a conversation about the people who actually unload containers and how it actually works. So what you have is you have a boat pull up and then a crane takes, the container off the boat and stacks it up. Then another crane takes that container and puts it onto what's known as a chassis. This chassis has wheels and has dolly legs on the front of it. When it's able and it's locked down and a jockey driver takes it and goes parks it in the area where a trucker comes and picks it up and takes it over to a warehouse where it is offloaded and reloaded onto another warehouse where it's cross-docked and sent all over the country because no one actually needs an entire container full of washers and dryers or refrigerators or microwaves or cell phones or whatever the case might be, right? These are going to individual warehouse to be distributed throughout the United States at different stores, say whether it be Home Depot, whether it be Lowe's, whether it be Walmart, whether it be, Best Buy, right? It doesn't really matter. Macy's, whatever the hell it is coming in from China, right? Legit or overseas. It goes through the port, goes to a warehouse and then goes to another warehouse or it goes to a cross dock and then goes to another warehouse. But the problem is that you're having problems at the port of Long Beach having workers actually show up for work. And you're wondering why this is. Well, I know those of y'all in the middle of the country are like, we only make like $15 an hour. Well, like your houses are only like, you can rent a place for like $500 a month, right? Or even $800, right? These individuals are living in Los Angeles, which, by the way, in case you didn't know, is a very, very expensive place to live, right? And so in doing so, they have to stand here. I apologize, man. My man's is out here like running a weed whacker or a chainsaw or something. I'm not sure which it is. Either way it goes, right? So basically what ends up happening is that these jockey drivers who, work at the port and the port drivers are only making on average around $18 an hour, right? The jockey drivers. And then the truck drivers on average are only making about $23. And they're all labeled as independent contractors, even though they only pool for one company or like one, carrier, right? And these companies have decided that instead of like carrying the liability and the health insurance and the vacation time and all the things that go with it, they're going to take advantage of the fact that these truck drivers kind of are unruly individuals and don't actually like to have to answer to someone. Now, I'm an independent contractor. I work for the port myself, so this is not like me talking out of my ass, not understanding what's going on, right? Because I'll be honest, I'm an independent contractor too, and I enjoy the fact of being able to tell work to go themselves whenever I want to. It's one of those advantages. But the problem is you don't get vacation time, you don't get sick time, you don't get paid time off, you don't get, health insurance, you don't get any of the things that come with that, and the pay is whatever it is you make for the day. Right. You might make $150, you might make $500. Who knows what it is, but usually it's somewhere around $300 a day, right? You make about $1,500 to $2,000 a week. That tends to be about how much you make as a port driver, right? Now you go, that's a lot of money. That's $8,000 a month. Slow down. You still got to pay taxes. And most of us are divorced with kids. That's why we became truckers. We're like, oh, well, we can't see our kids. We're not married anymore. Might as well go make some money. Now, once it leaves out of there, it ends up going to a warehouse. And we're having a problem with warehouses being short-staffed because of the fact that we have what's known as non-asset-based third-party logistics or non-asset-based allocations. Now, what happens is you'll have a giant company like Home Depot or Unilever or whoever the case might be. These companies have been running for efficiency for probably the last 30 years, and they've been trying to get prices as low as possible by generating as much individuals buying their product as possible. Like they're operating off of throughput. Companies like Walmart, Amazon, Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever the case might be, right? These companies are only making like a 2 to 3 to 4% profit, depending on who they are. And these companies, what they do is they just sell a lot of stuff. So that 3% profit is on maybe $20 billion or $5 billion or $1 billion, whatever the case might be. So they end up making a lot of profit for their stockholders, as it were. Now, the thing is that this is very, very sketchy because of the fact in order to do this, what you have to do is you have to put your business in the hands of other people. Now, you're going to have a temp agency person actually like working inside of the warehouse, order selecting and loading the trucks. You're going to have somebody like Laser Spot, who is, like a jockey provider who, actually moves the stuff around the yard as they get loaded in and off of trailers. You're going to have Securitas doing your security for you. You're going to have a company like JB Hunt doing, your actual day-to-day logistics of, setting up trucking loads and all these type of things. And you might have two people of your own actually on site that are, overseeing the operation. And that's how most of these businesses actually operate today. But in order to do so, all these companies have to sign contracts long-term with the company. And in signing contracts long-term, that means that they can only hire people for a certain amount of money because the contracts go out for bids. And in these bids, a company, all these companies will come in and go, we can do it for this, we can do it for this, we can do it for this. And each of them are trying to undercut each other. There's been stories of the owner of Swift, who's, a trucking company, saying, hey, look, I don't care what it takes. You get that freight. I don't care if we don't make money on it. Because they'll make money off of throughput and then stand here and try to pay their drivers off of it. This is just how things actually operate in the real world. And we've been doing this for years. And in doing this, we have stood here and ended up basically, forcing everybody to work for really garbage wages. And we've made the boomers a butt ton of money in the stock market in order to be able to retire off their 401ks. Well, the problem is now that investment is no longer coming in. It's going the opposite direction because boomers are all retiring. You see in this demographic age pyramid from the United States, the top, the top ones that circled are the boomers, right? And these boomers, all right, are no longer investing in the market, but they own 53% of all the wealth in the United States at current. So in having that much wealth and having all of the land and all of the stuff, right, they're going to start going the opposite direction. Now they're transferring a lot of it down to their kids because basically their kids are living with them because the kids don't have any opportunity to be able to make any money and survive on their own because, businesses have pressed the employment and the labor force down to the point where they can no longer survive. And these millennials, as it were, right, you know what I'm saying? They're going to be the individuals who we're waiting on for the investments because Gen X, in between the boomers and the millennials, don't have enough people to fill the gap. And this is why our entire world is falling to pieces because we've been running off this investment-based model for the past, 30 or 40 years where literally companies are living off of their stock price instead of living off of profits. We're going to have to readjust. Now, the good thing is this is not the first time this happened, but the problem is we have a long way to go before we get there. At current, we spend about 8% of our income on food. In the 1960s, that was at 24%. We have a long way to move yet, right? And when you say that Americans don't want to do these jobs and we bring in immigrants to do them, the truth is Americans don't want to do these jobs for the amount of money that you're offering to do them. Because that job has to be profitable. Problem is you're going to have to pay more money. Welcome to Inflation 101, my friends. It ain't going no motherfucking where. Thank you. It's Tom Pease with Pnoid News. Y'all know the deal. Like, share, and subscribe. Later.